Saint Sophia Cathedral is one of Kiev's best-known landmarks. 1,000 years ago, the Saint Sophia Cathedral was the biggest church in the city. Its exterior didn't look like it does now. The walls were plastered only 600 years later. The cathedral had an elaborately decorated interior. The altar and the interior of the dome are decorated with mosaics. In the center of the composition is a 6-meter-high orange-type icon of the Virgin Mary. According to legend, it saved the church when Mongols attacked Kiev in the 13th century. Leonid, a Kiev resident, tells the story to his grandchild.
When the Mongols entered the building, they started to shoot arrows at the Virgin Mary. One of the arrows got deflected and injured one of the Mongols. After this, they decided to leave the temple alone. Thus, it is the only temple in Kiev which remained intact. I was amazed by the story about the Virgin Mary.
The temple is decorated with depictions of biblical scenes. 150 years ago, the frescoes were accidentally discovered. A piece of stucco fell off the wall, revealing the pictures behind it. Scientists have confirmed that the images were a millennium old. The frescoes also contain graffiti by medieval visitors.
The people of those times left their marks in this temple book. Contrary to the contemporary chronicles, these inscriptions were not rewritten. They represent the authentic language of the time.
Some of the graffiti is actually something akin to ancient legal documents. The walls contain the dates of birth and death of both commoners and princes. This inscription tells about the death of a prince in 1054, who was a very powerful and influential ruler in the contemporary Europe.
This contains graffiti which is considered to be the date of death of Prince Yaroslav the Wise. The graffiti is in Cyrillic. The numbers are represented by letters.
And here is the first surviving record of a purchase agreement in Kiev.
The agreement says that Princess Vsevolodova bought land from Princess Bayanova in front of a special witness who was there to make sure that the transaction was legitimate. The princess bought the whole land plot and paid 700 hryvnia in sable.
The temple walls also contain the signatures of the notables of the time. This signature, scientists suggest, was left by Princess Anne of Kiev in the beginning of the 11th century. In a couple of years, she would go on to marry the French king.
There is a monument in the town of Senlis in France. There is the signature of Anna de Kiev, that is Anna, daughter of Yaroslav. And at the end of last year, 2017, Vladimir Putin called her a Moscow princess. That's nonsense in terms of history. Moscow only emerged 150 years after that.
Hundreds of tourists visit the church every day to have a glimpse of 1,000-year-old history.
The frescoes are interesting for what they tell us. They give insight into the culture of your people. The mosaics are a work of art indeed.
1,000 years ago, Kievan Rus was a mighty principality. Kiev was an important and influential political and trade center in Europe. The Saint Sophia Cathedral is a testament to the medieval golden age of Kievan Rus.